As Ritima mentioned, I'm Venus Pirak. I'm the CEO of FranGlobal, and we want to thank Franchise India, who does this every day. And this show today stands as the biggest launching pad for any brand in India to present them to the country and the world. So we are glad and privileged to host this. And again, thank you very much to the All Franchise India team and FranGlobal team for making this happen. Now, uh, uh, FranGlobal, our core, area of service has always been carving out a space for international brands and connecting them to the Indian market. And the brand for today, Orchestra, comes from the retail space. Now, things are very different today, but retail franchising was it has much more historical background and establishment in the country. So all the big brands which you see in retail, I would say 90% or even more are some in some sort of a master franchise or a master license structure and are there in the country. And we know so many people who are managing different kind of retail brands, from a uh, let's say a Tommy Hilfiger to NFC UK to Adidas to Reebok to Nike, all the big international brands which you see, mother care, so are under some sort of a master franchise or a master license structure. It is a more, I would say, historical, traditional, established sector in franchising. And over the years, a lot has changed in the industry. Like many other industries, it has been disrupted. So any brand which looks at the market today does not, let's say, talk the same language which where they used to do 15 years back. Okay, how many stores are you going to open? What brands today are looking for is an overall multi-channel business, multi-channel distribution, and multi-channel experience. Just doing a digital channel does not mean that the brand has to lose its component of experience. So I think there's a lot of interesting things which have already happened, are happening. There's a huge scope, especially for the kids market. I mean, and I believe there's still limited number of players. I'm talking about the organized player, and that includes both. And we have Franchise India, FranGlobal. We have done work for brands like Mom and Me, which you changed their name from Mahindra and help them put up their franchise program. So so in the kids wear market, there are limited brands and there's a huge scope. It's a market which is almost I think over 22 billion US dollars, always increasing. The spend on kids, because especially the middle class is not having, let's say, 4 or 5 or 6 children, but if they're having 1 or 2 children, they are spending a lot because that child really brings together the family. So the dynamics are changing, and I think a brand like Orchestra, with this history, with this background, and being operating in over 30 plus countries, and I will let the Orchestra team to really bring that information over to you. But there's a huge opportunity in a market like India, multi-channel opportunity. And ideally, it should be with someone who has a background in retail, because otherwise the runway becomes too long. But if you are a business family, if you're a family fund, or operating some other brands in retail, I think this can an interesting opportunity, a very valuable, very credible opportunity. And without further ado, let me bring the Orchestra team. We have Fred, who is the Director of International Development for Orchestra. And we have Satish. Satish actually is from India, sits in India. Orchestra has an office in India. And Satish, you are involved in the product supply chain aspect of the business, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I think between Fred and Satish, we will kind of really present you the opportunity and give you a sense on how Orchestra is looking for entry into the Indian market and the partnerships. Fred, welcome,
Thank
and we
you.
want to hear from you.
Good morning, good afternoon. Actually, it's good morning for me. Like Venus said, it's a bit early, but it's a pleasure to have you guys here. Just to explain, Orchestra was, Venus said, was created in 1995 by Pierre and Chantal Mestre. And since then, the group has a real wish and strategy to develop internationally, meaning that they started to buy over companies in Belgium and in Switzerland. That built up the group the way it is now. And since 2012, when they bought over Prémaman, which is a childcare chain that was existing in Belgium, the group has a bit changed, meaning that we were specialized into apparel, clothing only from 0 to 14 years old. And with the time being, childcare took a decent and then major place in the shelves of the stores. The reason why I'm telling you this is because that strategy, moving from apparel only to childcare plus apparel, gave the opportunity to the Orchestra group to develop itself abroad, overseas. Because when you got a client, consumer, that starts to be a client of Orchestra stores when the kids are really young, like even before birth sometimes, with all the maternity category that we're carrying. That keeps the client into the stores from 0 to 14 years old. And we had a lot of point of interest from other countries. So as Venus said, we are present now in 32 or 33 countries. We just opened Palestine and Jordan. And more, the people from other countries are looking for, let's say, multi-specialists like we are into childcare and apparel, meaning that we got the two environments under one roof. Satish, my friend, maybe you have some compliments because you know the company a lot more than I do, right?
No, that's not true. You know also
I'm kidding.
all of
I'm
aspects
kidding.
of the organization. But yes,
Satish been there for a long time.
yeah, but yes, I've been here associated with the company inside now for almost 12 years, and I was associated or known them now since almost 15 years, and it's come from grassroots levels. As Fred mentioned, founded by husband and wife, Pierre and Chantal, who brought this company to life, and we have seen the company from initial stages grow and grow and grow, and that's the past. And as for the product goes, the products are very colorful and joyful, hence the name Orchestra, which is like a synergy of colors, but for the products that we have today, because Pierre himself was a musician in his early years. So altogether, and I would say a wonderful brand. Being an Indian, I can say huge market in general, but to be specific, it has huge upside potential that we need to work upon and see the best we can get out of this market for each other and working with each other. Back to you.
Internationally, the Orchestra group has now the let's say ability. We've got a decent sized warehouse which is in northern part of France, meaning that we ship abroad to the 32 or 33 countries, both categories, apparel and childcare. Everything is under one roof, like the products are under one roof in the stores. All the warehousing is done from the same location. We've got about 70,000 square meters warehouse in Arras, which is near Lille, northern part of France, by the Belgian border. That is close to Anvers, and that is close to Le Havre as well. that helps us a lot in order to ship our goods to the different countries that are carrying the Orchestra brand. That is the logistic part. For the, let's say, organization of our stores, we got, let's say, three formats. Maybe you had access to the documentation that we sent to
Yes.
Venus and team.
Yes, so Fred, you would present. I think Sritama, you will put that up.
Sritama has it, so you can do it. If
Sritama, I think she should be able to do it. Just give us a second, Fred.
yeah, take your
Sritama,
time. Take your time.
can you put that up, please? So I can see new people are joining in. So thank you for joining in. We have just started our session for Orchestra, and we will be taking you through a quick a layout of the brand and the presentation, so you get a sense on where the business is. And we'll take up Q&A, question and answers also. And so just put them up in the Q&A box. Go ahead, Fred.
Yes, if Sritama, you can go a bit down. If I to the dimensions of the stores, the three formats I was talking about, a bit more, if you don't mind. Yeah, so you see the locations that we're in. We added a couple countries because that presentation was created early this year, but since the beginning of the year, we opened three new countries. So now we are in Ivory Coast, in Jordan, in Palestine, and in Madagascar, with a new store that will open in December. But we got three formats, as you see. The smallest would be, let's say, around 500 square meters, which is 5,000 square feet. In this kind of store, we are able to present both environments. It's going to be a lot easier in bigger stores like 1,500 and 2,500 stores. But in 500 stores, we've got some, let's say, some split between apparel and childcare that represent about 80% is apparel and 20% would be childcare. We reduce the assortment of childcare in order to present, let's say, 99% of what the new mother will need, from feeding to sleeping to safety, car safety, strollers and everything. And this environment, we will find all the clothing that we carry around the globe. We've got some special assortment in those, let's say, smaller stores, especially when we are in hot countries like, let's say, Mauritius. We got 4 stores. Or in Africa, we got a special assortment which is dedicated to, let's say, hot countries. So it's the way we organize things. In bigger stores like 1,500 and, let's say, what we call the megas, it's a lot easier to present the full assortment. And in those two cases scenario, we see that we have a, let's say, we got regular visits from customers that are coming to visit Orchestra stores like they go to a supermarket, because you have the whole range of the childcare products, the whole range of apparel, and we add also shoes and for kids, of course, and we expand the childcare assortment by 35-40% compared to what you will find in a 500 square meter store. That's for the dimension of the stores and the way things are presented with the different categories that we carry. Sritama, if you can go a bit lower, the next slide, yeah. Talk about the club, because that's something that was invented by Pierre and Chantal. It's a card in many countries that is payable, meaning that the customer is paying for it. In France, the price is about 30 euros. It's about the equivalent in Morocco and in Mauritius. The club is as we said, a unique concept, because the consumer belongs to, let's say, the Orchestra family. That card is cost like 30 euros per year and gives the opportunity for the consumer to have very nice discounts on apparel, on shoes, and even on childcare. That gives also the for the franchisee in the country, the opportunity to get money directly because the card is payable in a store which is 500 square meters in let's say Casablanca, for example. They've got 4,500 club cards carriers, meaning that every year they make €30 multiplied by 4,500 cardholders. So it's 100% margin for the store and for the franchisee. If you can go a bit lower, Sritama, if you don't mind. So in every category has special discounts. Of course, the discount cannot be the same on childcare, because on the childcare the margins are a bit lower than we've got on the apparel. But in every category we have special discounts that are organized for the consumer. As you see in the blue square that you got on the slide in front of you, we also manufacture some diapers. That was the last step for the assortment, because it's something that is normally purchased in Europe in pharmacies or in supermarkets. And that was a real demand from the consumer to have those diapers present into a baby store like Orchestra stores. So from I think 3 years, Satish, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think it's 3 years ago. We decided that diapers was part of it. Those are manufactured in Eastern Europe. They are top quality. We've got a special category of diapers that are 100% biological. And that gives also, like the club, the opportunity for the stores to have, what we call a recoming to the store, because every mother needs it, especially in Europe, and everybody's coming back to buy those diapers that made a pretty good success in the last 2-3 years. Next slide, Tama, please, if you don't mind. Yes. As Satish said, we have a design team that is probably the most numerous staff into the Orchestra headquarters, because I think it's about 32 girls and guys that are designing the products. We have a big team as well in India. The big boss of the Indian office, Satish, is in front of us. And the way the design is made is very, let's say, human and specially done, because most of those girls that are working with Chantal into the design team are young mothers. They come from different environments. They are very concerned about the quality of the fabric, the quality of the materials that we will use to manufacture the apparel. And because they are young mothers, they know also what is good and, let's say, what's not good for the baby. As well, because they come from different countries and different environments, we've got a very wide panel of tastes in terms of colors, in terms of style. And that's the reason why probably into the baby apparel market, Orchestra has one of the largest and most accurate assortment of baby clothing. Next, the childcare is the same. Let's say it's probably done the same way. All the pré-maman products are designed the exact same way the apparel is designed, meaning that the product managers are all of them, I think, except the boss, are young parents. The quality team is as well with the composed with the people that are young parents as well, meaning that they are very concerned about the quality of the strollers, quality of the car seats. Everything is 100% tested and tested again in order to propose to our consumers one of the best, let's say, private label assortment for childcare products. And because we cannot do everything, we also ask major brands like Cybex, like Baby Zen, like Joie, brands that are coming from all over the world to complete the assortment that we've got in the stores. Next, Ritama, please. That's the explanation I was giving you about innovation. We also ask our consumer, most of the time it's mothers. We ask them to help us to create products. I'm sorry. We've got online a nice website that allows the consumers to create their own, let's say, skirt, t-shirt, or everything is possible. There is a team every 2 or 3 months that gives the opportunity to mothers to create their own products. It's like a funny time for people because those ladies that are online and are pregnant or they got new baby, they got a whole bunch of ideas and they've had a lot of time. And in that case scenario, which is fun, is that most of the products that are created by the mothers are part of the the bestseller, the top seller. Next slide, Tama, please. Thank you. You see what we call Orchestra. I'm not sure it is something which is adapted to what we'd like to do in India, but it is something that does exist in Morocco, France, Belgium, Switzerland, and Greece, some countries. That's the opportunity for the consumer to come back to the Orchestra stores in order to sell let's say secondhand, meaning that the kids are growing up very fast, and in order to have a let's say eco-friendly attitude in Orchestra, we offer to our consumers to come back and trade what they bought 2 or 3 months ago or 2 or 3 years ago for new products, and they get coupons. Those products are sold to mothers that are demanding this kind of, let's say, second-hand items. And the mother that are selling get coupons in order to buy new products on the shelves. It's the cycle that we like in Orchestra because we know that the textile industry is something which is very complicated to explain in terms of ecology. So it's our way in Orchestra to participate to the prevention of problems for the planet. Next slide. Thank you. So this one is concerned more the European countries because it's what we call affiliate partnership. That's something that could be used, of course, by the franchisee that we will do business with, but that's something that does exist in France and in Belgium and Switzerland. The two-way is like a regular, let's say, affiliate partnership, when the guy who's managing the stores is getting a commission of on what they sell, and we owe the stock, we owe the inventory. And the second way of working in Europe, which is very traditional, is what we call mandated management partnership, meaning that the guy is the boss of his own stores and he owes shares of the capital of the company that is managing the stores. Some of our partners have 4, 5, 6, 7 stores, and they're managing those different stores on that way. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. That's more what we will probably discuss about the international partner. What we look into the Orchestra development overseas is to find partners that are taking care of, let's say, one country or one territory. With the discussion that we had with Venus, Satish, and the team at FranGlobal, we know that India is a big country, wide, very large, and sometimes it could be like it is in some areas, for example, in the US, when it's only a couple states that are part of the deal that we have with people, but everything is wide open. We work on the base of a 5 years contract most of the time, and the conditions that we apply for regular master franchise is entrance fees, and then regular fees when new stores are open, meaning that on our business model, maybe Venus will describe that a bit further, we don't have percentage on the sales, meaning that as soon as you are a member of the Orchestra family, the business model is made a certain way that you're managing your own business with a reporting in order for us to understand how products are going, but you don't have any percentage to pay back to the franchisor, which is a very particular way of working. But that gives the opportunity for the master franchisee to be his own boss and to be totally, let's say, concerned about what's going on into the stores and how products are getting out from the shelves. And you're going to ask me, how do you make your margin? The margin is made on the products that we buy, and the percentage that we make is between 2 and 3%, which is not a huge margin, but something which is decent in order for us to make enough money to develop the future collections. And thanks to Satish, we have also a good KPI on quality things, meaning that we've got under 1% defective products. Just to give you a rough idea, we buy about 26 million pieces per season. Am I right, Mr. Satish?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Just there,
I
yes.
know my lesson by heart about the purchasing, which is not my field. Sritama, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. You will have in this document all the small description, the way the stores are organized. This one is the 500. Next slide is the 1500. And the one after is the megas, that's what we call 2,500 square meters. Our design team is split into 3 teams. When I say design, it's say architects. We got in-house people that are designing the layouts, the flooring, the lights, and everything. And in our organization, there is one dedicated small task force for the small stores, another dedicated task force for the 1,500 square feet, another task force for the megas, meaning that it's a bit different to make layouts for stores that are under 500 or around 500. When you do a supermarket of 2,500 square meters, it's a bit different. Things have to be organized different ways, and the way of organizing, especially the lights and the way of moving into the stores, is a bit different. So the teams are specialized into the different footage. If you can, yeah, last one. So the relationship that we have with our partners all around the world, from the beginning, we are trying to give you as much as possible in terms of tools, meaning that we start from a flow map, which is plain with nothing on it, and we built up with our architects the layouts of the store. It is something which is very uneven in our let's say environment. We don't subcontract the floor plans, neither the lights and everything. Everything is done in-house, because we believe in Orchestra that it is something that give the global aspect of the store and of the Orchestra concept. We tried a couple times to subcontract the flooring and the layouts and everything, and we had the impression that we were losing a little bit of our not our soul but our identity. So in order to keep our identity, Pierre has decided that the the floor maps, the layouts, the design of the lightings, the signs, the way of circulation into the store has to be done by people that know the products, know the concept, and know the brand, which is probably a good opportunity to have something that looks exactly the same if you are in Bangalore, if you are in Mauritius, if you are in Morocco, or if you're in Sweden or in Ivory Coast. And that's something which is very nice to communicate, because when you visit an orchestra store in Rabat in Morocco or in Casablanca, and if you visit Saint-Onès, which is the headquarters or flagship, you will have the feeling that you are getting to the same environment. The products are presented the same way, with the same design, with the same intensity of lights, and that's the orchestra concept and the orchestra look. That's the what we call l'atelier. That's what I was talking about with what I was describing, like designing products online. The mothers are doing. We do also ask mothers and people coming to the headquarters and participate directly, what we call l'atelier, to the design of products. The products are decided in the morning, and at night, at the end of the day, the ladies are able to see what the clothing or the apparel that the design looks like, which is something which is fun. I'm done, Ms. Venice, about the presentation. I hope it was not too long.
No, I think this was very up to the point, at the same time gave a really sort of, I think, practical sense on how the brand works and what the business is about. Satish, you want to add something over there?
No, it was a tail one in general, but as Fred has mentioned, the key aspect of our organization and about a brand is the design and the aesthetics of the design, and the quality control aspect of it, which is very, very clean and clear for us. It's all over. I mean, nothing much to add in general, but just to touch those points again. The presentation was.
And Satish, since you really have been associated with the brand for a fairly long time, and you are based in India, so just for an understanding for Indian audience, according to you, let's say when we open a store of Orchestra in India, what would be a typical ticket size which you think, which the brand would be, let's say, sort of trading in?
Well, you're talking about the ticket size of an average price that you're looking at.
Average customer.
Actually, the answer would be would depend on a lot of other factors. Since I'm based in Bangalore, I'll give you from a Bangalore perspective, because if I'm based in North with a lot of with a lot of sun and nice cool weather, it will be a completely different answer.
Okay.
So
let's say Bangalore.
Let's say from the Bangalore perspective, I would say an average would be around 14 or 15 euros on the higher side. So that'll be about 1,200 to 1,400 bucks on the higher side.
Okay.
But this price, when I speak, is a discounted price. So there are two prices. We have a regular price, full price, and then we have the club price. Because when I'm able to go to France and I buy some product from France, whenever I go, I do have a big bag which I carry back always with me, and I can tell you my last purchase was around 500 euros, approximately 480, 490 euros is what I picked up. So though I have facility in-house, but I prefer to buy from there for reasons that the collections are global in nature and I'm able to pick up a theme. So what's happening, Venus, is that when I go there, I'm looking at the wall, and in the wall I got a tunic, a top, or a dress, or I got a matching or a themed, a denim bottom or a woven shirt or a sweater or something to tag along. So it becomes a whole theme. And I don't know, I'm not as involved as my wife is in day-to-day activities of my children other than my studies, but when I see her choice, she's a designer herself. So she's normally asking me to pick up stuff which is more coordinated and not so much as basics as an Indian and as a designer as well on top. So what I see, I end up picking up a lot. When I'm traveling, I'm normally traveling once in 2 months on an average, or 1.5 months, depending on the situation, the holiday and so on. But I can tell you from my personal perspective, there is no brand in the market today. No brand. When I say no brand, I say no brand which can compete with the product quality and the final price of the product. Price, there are again two prices, as Fred mentioned, the regular price, and then you have the club price.
Of course.
The next brand which come closest or had come closer to Orchestra was incomparable, not exactly mother care, but I would say basic range of mother care would be comparable to the basic range of Orchestra. And when I look at mother care, not to demean any brand or not to say bad things about any other brand, or to push us up, we don't have to do that. But just talking about my personal experience, I found mother care was very blank, was grays and whites, and when I see in Orchestra is what I see in India, which is very colorful. You go to Jaipur, you got a different color. You go to east of it, you got a different variety. You go to north, center, south, you got colors. So Orchestra is all about colors. And coming from, let's say, California of France, which is Montpellier city, I think sun brings the colors and the joy of colors on the brand itself.
No, I think that's very well put, Satish. And I think both your personal inputs and what you knowing about the brand makes sense. And I think we don't have to sort of shy away from mentioning mother care, because people relate to mother care because they are already here in India. They've had their own set of journey. So I think if we are delivering, and the price points, I think what I would imagine between, let's say, a $10 to $15 US dollars, which is about 800 to 1200 rupees, is a good price point. Yes. I think in India, I think this is for everyone. In India, this price point would place you not in mass, but in mass premium. But I think as Fred mentioned, as Satish mentioned, the quality of the product. And I think every parent I meet, and I know people are having fewer and fewer children, but every parent I meet, they don't even think about the pricing. They want for their daughter or their sons that best product, because like between 4 people there'll be this one child, and the child is generally pampered. So I think those economics are interesting for an Indian marketplace. And I think, Nikita, we have some numbers to show to the people. We can quickly take them through. I know we have limited time, but if Nikita, you can quickly take people through how let's say a store model would look like, and then we can summarize, if you're there, Nikita.
Sure. And I'm really sorry, there's some glitch with my camera, so I might not be able to come on video. Let me just quickly share my screen to take you through the store model. In terms to start with, since Fred and Satish has already told us that we can go for different formats in terms of 500 square meter and an 800 square meter. If we consider for a 500 square meter, which is roughly around 4,000 to 6,000 square feet in Indian market, the franchise fee that the brand has spoken about is roughly around 10,000 euro, which communicate to around 10 lakh rupees in Indian currencies. The fit out cost is roughly around 55 to 60,000 euros, which is 50 lakhs to 60 lakh rupees in Indian market. The inventory, which is kind of an initial inventory that the person might require for the display stock and a few storages, that is roughly around 110,000 euros, between 1 to 1.25 CR, which would be required at the store. Then the other license and ancillary cost, that would cost to around 20 to 25,000 euros. So in total, what we project for a 500 square meter store, it would require somewhere around 1.58 to 2 CR, which is around 200,000 to 2,500,000 euros. That comes out as a setup cost for the store. In terms of your margins, the apparel, we see that it could range between 30 to 35% as the margins that could be passed on. And for the childcare products, it would be roughly between 40 to 45% as advised by the brand. If we speak about our expenses, the monthly rental could range between around 4 to 5 lakh rupees, which is around 4,500 to 5,000 euros. The salaries would range between 3 lakh rupees. Then would be your other operational and marketing expenses. In a 500 square meter store, what we project is that we have a potential for the first 1 or 2 years to actually generate a revenue of around 4 to 5 CR, which is basically around 3,7,500 euros, and generate a good monthly EBITDA of around 7 to 9 lakh rupees. Which is around 76 to 9,000 euros. What we project is that the payback period could be well within your 2 to 2.5 years for this model, which is, I think, quite nice to go with, seeking out the investment size and all the revenues that could be generated. If I quickly speak about a 800 square meter store, the franchise fee would be roughly around 20,000 euros, wherein between 18 to 20 lakh rupees in Indian currencies. The fit out cost would be roughly between 90,000 to 100,000 euros, which is around 80 to 90 lakh rupees in Indian currencies. The initial inventory required at the store would be roughly between 165,000 to 180,000 euros, around 1.5 CR in Indian currencies. And other ancillary costs and licenses would cost you somewhere around 27,000 to 30,000 euros, around 25 lakh rupees in Indian currencies. So as a total setup cost that would be required for the 800 square meter store, which is roughly around 8,000 to 10,000 square feet, would be around 300,000 euros, around 2.75 to 3 CR in INR. Again, the margins would be for the apparel 35% and childcare at 45%. Here, if we speak about our yearly revenues, we have seen that it could range between 5 to 6 CR in INR, which is around 500,000 euros. If we speak about our monthly EBITDAs, that's a potential is roughly beyond 10 lakh rupees to start with. And for the certain model for an 800 square meter store, the payback period would be between 2 to 2.5 years. So roughly around 30 to 32 months would be the payback period for the model.
Right. And so these are the smaller stores. If you are a real estate owner, real estate developer, if you are coming up with a new mall, this can be an anchor store also, right, Fred? I think if there is a new mall coming up, this Orchestra can be an anchor with a 25, 30,000 square feet store or maybe more, as you
Oh,
mentioned.
yes. Yeah, totally. The trend was a couple of years ago. I think Satish will confirm what I'm saying. The trend was big mega stores a couple of years ago, because the landlords are they need more money than they used to. The reduction of the size is something that is a real trend probably around the world. I don't know how it is in India, but I see that in, for example, in Ivory Coast, the project at the beginning was 2,500 square meters, and they reduced to 1,200 square meters, which is let's say, the ideal size for having the total assortment of what we propose in terms of categories and products. But once again, the profitability does exist in every format that we carry. It's not because we've got a 2,500 square meters store that it will be more profitable than 500 in terms of percentage. Money-wise, the profitability comes also, as I told you earlier, also with the club, because that's something that we did not include in the study that has been done by FranGlobal. But the card business is something which is pure margin. In a let's say, summary of what I think about the formats, every size is preferable, and it's not because you got the bigger stores that you're gonna make the more money. By experience, 1,000, 1,200 square meters is ideal. Once again.
That's great. So the format works in across sizes, and if if you have a high street real estate and you want to put up a brand which caters to mothers, women, families, children, I think this is a good catchment brand, European brand. The ticket size would be about 30% more than the, let's say, an average kids wear Indian kids wear brand. So you have so accordingly you can decide if this would work or not. We are looking for partners, and Fred and Satish can add in here, who ideally are from either real estate or retail background and can at least deliver a certain area in terms of development. And if you have capacity to manage a whole region, we are open for that as well. Fred, so are you looking at multi-unit, omni-channel, partner, regional? If
I
you
mean, we let's be crystal clear. I mean, we're wide open to every let's say opportunity. As soon as we're looking for long-term partnerships. Omnicanality is something that we do believe in, but we are also open to even, let's say, what we call brand licensing. If the ability of the partners that we will find is to take care of the whole brand from 0 to 100, we're also open to that. We are more orientated because that's the experience and the background of the group. We are more experienced in the relationship between franchisor and franchisee. But yes, omnicanality is something which is very important. Satish gave me some figures about the percentage of how many sales are done online in India those days. You're probably one of the most developed country for online sales. We were laughing about the comparison between the US that are, most of the time American people think that they are on top of the world for everything in terms of digital. Definitely not. You are on top. Even over the Chinese consumers, or at the same levels for apparel, and that was probably the key why Pierre asked Satish and I to mark a real point of interest on your beautiful country.
No, I think that makes sense, and Satish was right. So I think what technology and digital payments have done is it's combined convenience with scale. Now, in a market like India, if you have convenience with scale, I mean, the numbers can be mind-boggling. So I think I like, Fred, that you, even if a group is able to demonstrate their experience, their bandwidth, then we are even open for brand licensing. Now that is huge. That is huge. Because then the whole business can be looked at from a very different eyes. So yes, I think, and my experience is, this is a very interesting category. There is, although there are a lot of players, but I think the kind of offering which Orchestra is doing, which is a great product across, I mean, they have so many SKUs, and pricing which is not mass but mass premium, caters to almost, I would say, 200 odd million middle class, which is there in at least in our top 10 to 15 cities. So and I think their history really is about building these partnerships across the country, and they are French. They're a French company, French family. So which means that they really are looking at those long-term partnerships the way French do. And we've had the privilege and honor to work with many French brands, and I think that's have been reflective, that's what we are looking for as orchestras. And I have been in have been talking to our team at Orchestra for at least for last 10 years. So finally, I think they are ready to kind of engage with the market. And so this session was just mostly about bringing the brand and the market and the audience together. But actually, the journey starts from here. So you can reach out to FranGlobal. I've given my number, and I think Srithma will share our hotline number, which is a general number where you can just kind of reach out and we'll speak to you. And if it works out, we'll put together your profile and bring it to Fred and Satish and Orchestra team. And otherwise, I think I want to thank our Fred, Satish from Orchestra to be able to join in, our other colleagues from franchising, and of course our audience, and definitely our independent franchise consultants from all across the country who have joined in today. I look forward to speak to you and reach out to us if if you either have someone who can be a good partner, or if you think you have the opportunity to explore this. Again, thank you so much, and I hand this back to Shrithma.
Thank you, Venus. Thank you, Fred, and thank you, Satish. It was a wonderful presentation. And thank you to the audience for your patience and your time. We will see you tomorrow again at same time, 12 p.m. with the brand new brand. So have a great day. Bye.